Okay, guys, we are back. This is the second podcast today, and I know a lot of you guys are looking at the title, especially you fucking Messi fans, and you're like, what is this goof gotta say today? Okay, and I gotta say a lot. Okay, by the time you guys are watching this, it's gonna be the day before UEFA's Player of the Year gets announced, so this will probably be put up on a Wednesday. UEFA Best Player of the Year will be put up on the Thursday. And one thing I want to talk about, two things I'm going to talk about. One thing that has come up through this whole past weekend is, should VAR, be in the Premier League? We're going to give my thoughts quickly on that. But the huge topic that we were talking about today is why the short list is good as it is, or basically why Messi should not be on the short list. Because after that dropped, I think it dropped like couple days ago, 5 days ago, something like that, where the short list for all of you who don't know who's on the short list, it's Messi, Ronaldo, and Luke. Not Messi, fuck that guy. It's Salah, Ronaldo, and Luka Modric. When they announced the short list, everybody was like, "Why is Messi on here?" Well, honestly, it was just Messi. It's just Messi fans. You didn't see anybody complaining that Kevin De Bruyne wasn't up there. Neymar, Mbappe, Cavani. That front three, nobody else except Messi fans were complaining about, where's Messi? And, I was looking at a lot of, I guess you could say, like just videos about people talking about it, a lot of articles. I wouldn't say a lot of articles, just like one or two talking about the short list and how, the three players on the short list, Ronaldo, Salah, and Luka Modric had a great year, which I agree 100%. I don't think that any player should be in the short list but these players. The only reason why I do want to talk about this is because I've seen a lot of people come out and say, well, the only player on here who, could not be replaced by any player is Luka Modric. And that's wrong. Okay, and that's wrong. The only player who cannot be released on the short list is Ronaldo. That's just how it is. There's no way that you can look, and we'll get into that, but there's no way you can look at what Ronaldo accomplished this season and say that he's replaceable. It doesn't make sense. Basically the way I would put it is I'd put Ronaldo, Luka Modric, and then Salah as, if you're listing 1 to 3. And basically get into it, it's because a lot of my videos were were really based on opinion. And then I guess when I was watching the other guys talk about how Messi should be on it, they just fucking half-assed everything. Okay, so in my podcast / video that's going up on YouTube, that's not what we're doing today. We're not half-assing shit. Okay, we're giving it our all. Basically, I'm just gonna talk about why Messi shouldn't be on the short list. If we look at Messi in the season he had a good La Liga season. I'll give him that. At the same time, La Liga is horrible. Out of the top 5 leagues, La Liga is probably 4th. Arguably could be 5th in the top 5 leagues about how bad it is. It's not competitive at all. Like I said before, the most competitive, hardest league to win is the Prem. So if there's any athletes in any other leagues, I will not bring that up as an accomplishment. Or I might... for Messi winning the league, obviously, Barcelona, they had a great season, only losing 1 game, I'm pretty sure, which is fantastic as well. And then I'm also going to touch up on that too, because they just destroyed everybody, 20 points just like Man City did. But just La Liga is just not a good league. Like I said, it's arguably next to, League One, how fucking bad it is. But if we look at Messi, and let's compare it to Mo Salah, because Mo Salah is probably the worst player on the list, and that's where I would put Messi if he was on it, if he made it. But basically, comparing, Messi to Salah, obviously Messi as an individual player is better. Okay, he's had a better career so far. He's been more consistent. Salah hasn't really found his groove until he hit Liverpool, which just shows you how good of a season he had, because not a lot of people knew who Salah was before that. Obviously, everybody knew him as that that fast. They used to call him the Rocket, the Egyptian Rocket, when he played for Chelsea. But when you're looking at Mo Salah, he comes into the Prem, okay, and scores 32 goals, which breaks the record. I think was tied by Ronaldo and Alan Shearer and then somebody else. For 31 goals in the whole season, which is fantastic. Comes in his first year, scores 32 goals. Okay, that's already an accomplishment. Only hit third place in the hardest league when Man City just went on a rampage, so you can't really give him that. Took Egypt to the World Cup. They didn't do that good, but then also, I wouldn't say took Liverpool because I feel like but obviously Salah was just the outstanding player in the whole team and every competition for Liverpool. So bringing them to the Champions League finals, not winning it just shows he had a great year. And like, it's just so ignorant to try to take that away from Salah, saying how Messi should be in there. Obviously, Messi had or led the league in goals, assists, I want to say shots, and then chances created, which is fantastic. But he also had, and one thing about Messi fans is they hate talking about numbers, Champions League and the World Cup. They hate it. They absolutely hate it. Messi had an okay Champions League. I'm not gonna say the worst, but he had all right, and then just had a god awful World Cup, just a horrible, awful World Cup. And the fact that people say, well, he won La Liga and he led with all these, that's fine. Let's bring up Kevin De Bruyne, for instance. Led the league in assists, crosses, through balls. I'm gonna say most chances created as well. Didn't score a lot, but he's also a midfielder. Not only did he win the Prem, which is the hardest league, only losing one game as well, but he also had the same World Cup or the same Champions League as Messi, getting out in the same time, but then also having a way better World Cup than Messi, in my opinion. But yet nobody wants to fucking say, oh, let's put why isn't Kevin De Bruyne on the list? Because it's just Messi fans. Because they care so much about La Liga, because that's the only thing Barcelona can win. Okay? And this is, last year, fucking Real Madrid won it anyway. So it doesn't matter. They're 1 year. I don't think they're going to win it next season, or this season that we're currently in. I don't think they're going to win the next one either. So the fact that people are coming out and saying, oh, well, he led what did Salah do? Fucking Messi led in this. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. Okay, why isn't Kevin De Bruyne on the list? Why is nobody saying that? And then also, one argument that I heard from somebody is, well, if Messi was on Liverpool and Salah was on Barcelona would do worse, and then Liverpool would do better. The fact that Messi fans have to go, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why that's such a stupid thing to say. I'll tell you why. So, first of all, it's fictional. You're using, you're bringing something that didn't happen, or wouldn't happen, or hasn't happened. Okay, so you're saying, well, I could easily say, well, if Mo Salah could shoot with his right foot, he'd be the best player in the world. I could easily say that. We have no proof, no evidence saying that. Obviously, like I said before, Messi is a better individual player compared to Salah and has a better season. But how much better could have Liverpool done anyway? They made it to the Champions League final, which they were never going to win with Messi regardless. And even maybe get second place in the Prem. They wouldn't have gone first with him. It doesn't matter. Maybe Barcelona would have done worse. But what happens if you put Salah on Argentina and Messi on Egypt? He would have retired. Messi would have retired halfway through the qualifiers. Okay? The fact that he retired after the World Cup again. This guy retired, and you want to say, oh, we should put him on the short list? All he does is complain. And I guarantee you, Salah would have been way better on Argentina than Messi being on Egypt. I guarantee you, because it doesn't make sense for Argentina to be bad. It doesn't make sense. They're such a good team. Obviously, their midfield is a little shaky. Their defense isn't the best in the world, but you're also going up against defenders or defenses like Spain's, Germany's, and Italy's. But their attack is ridiculous, and yet they don't do anything ever. Losing what? I think the last, let's just say 8 years. In the last 8 years, they lost 4 international finals. Like I said this before, because it's every single time somebody wants to talk about Messi, they forget about how bad he is internationally and how shitty he is in the Champions League. And then the fact that people are coming out and saying, well, why didn't Messi would have done better if he was on Liverpool? So stupid. First of all, it's fictional. Second of all, there's no proof of it, but on paper it does seem like that. Okay, but at the same time, how many times in sports, let alone just soccer, how many times has something on paper or the odds said that this was going to happen and it didn't? How many times has that happened? We never know. Salah could be the fucking way better than Messi on Barcelona if we put him there. It does make sense. Messi, for all these Messi fans out there who keep arguing, this is bullshit, should have been on the list, blah, blah, blah. It's not true. Okay, Messi is where he is. He had a shit World Cup, god awful. Okay, I'm just gonna say a bad Champions League because it wasn't great, but in all honesty, it was bad. And he had a great La Liga. That was it. Probably, and it's not even the best league in the world. It's a crappy league with a bunch of farmers playing. I mean, if you were to mix it, let's say with the Bundesliga, the first three teams would definitely be probably Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and Barcelona, and then the second half, bottom half of it, will be all La Liga teams. Just fucking Bundesliga slap these guys. So the fact that people are just using these arguments to try to put Messi on the short list, it's not gonna happen. He's where he is, and it's perfectly fine. He wasn't that good this year. Just fucking swallow it. And then if we move on to, let's say, Luka Modric, and it's not that I hate Luka Modric. I think he's one of the best midfielders probably of all time. I'd put him in my top 15 list just because I think we've had some great midfielders, in our time. But the fact that people are coming out saying he's the only player who can't be replaced on this list is just not true. And the fact, and nobody wants to say it because he took Croatia all the way to the finals, which I said it before. Croatia, every single team Croatia played, they were better than. Okay, and obviously in soccer, sometimes teams lose to worse teams, stuff like that. Sometimes the games are equal. We've seen it so many times before. But the fact is that Croatia played probably all the way until England, who I think England never matched up. But Croatia played every single team that they were better than. Every single team except France, and they got beaten by France. Okay, it didn't really matter. Anybody on that side of the bracket who played France was going to lose anyway, so there was really no point to go. France just went there to get their medal because they had to. But if you look at Luka Modric, people are saying Luka Modric has been the best midfielder in the last 5 years. No, he hasn't. That's not true. First of all, Kevin De Bruyne was probably the best midfielder last year. And then the last, 4 years after that, Toni Kroos has beaten him in goals, assists, tackles. They had the same amount of pass accuracy, and Toni Kroos probably had higher in some seasons and more dribbles passed. So the fact that people are coming out and saying, oh, Luka Modric has probably been top 5 mid, no, he hasn't. It's not true. You guys are just lying to yourself because you like him, and I can see that. I don't hate Luka Modric, but I'm not gonna go up on a camera and say, yeah, Luka Modric is the only player that's not replaceable on this list. He should win it no matter what. It's a lie. He had, honestly, Ronaldo had a better World Cup than him, if you think about it. Luka Modric played out of his mind, but at the same time, he was playing against teams that were just not better than Croatia, and that's it. Once he played England, that was the only time they ever played a match team. And England was garbage too, so it didn't even matter. The only time Croatia played a good team was France, and they lost. So, I don't know. When they played Argentina, I think they smacked them 3-0. Argentina sucks. It doesn't matter. Okay, and then, like I said before, I don't hate Luka Modric. But the only player on this list who should not be replaced is Ronaldo. Ronaldo had by far the one of the best seasons we've ever seen by somebody of his age. Okay, people are forgetting that this guy is 33 years old. When you had people like Van Persie, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Zidane, Thierry Henry, all these guys at 33 weren't even playing international anymore, let alone Ronaldo is the captain of his team. Okay, and these guys were tired at 33. I think Ronaldinho at 33 was playing in the Brazilian league. Okay, no hate to that guy, nobody can hate him, but Van Persie was in Fenerbahce. You're forgetting that this guy had a 55 game season with 54 goals. He didn't win La Liga, which most Messi fans are just fucking sitting there that's the only argument they had. Won the Champions League 3 times in a row. Obviously he's had a slow start with Juve, but if you want to talk about that for a second, people don't understand that when you switch to a different league, to a different team, obviously Real Madrid had the best midfield, probably in the world right now with Casemiro, Luka Modric, and Toni Kroos, probably the best 3 center mids or 3 midfielders you could have. But the attack, I'm gonna have to give it to Juve, and the defense, I'm gonna have to give it to Juve. Plus, he's having a slow season he's in a league where this is the best defensive league. Obviously in the weekend they had the most goals, but if you want to count that fucking weekend, there you go. Okay, if you want to win points, yeah, Syria had more goals, last weekend. Are you happy about that? If you say that, you know what I mean. Obviously, Ronaldo has been slow, but the fact that people are just they're going on like One Football, Sportsnet, just looking at the score and seeing, oh, Ronaldo didn't do shit. They're not even people aren't even watching the games, man. Ronaldo at all times has three midfielders on him. At all times. Every single time he touches the ball, he has three midfielders. He will come to half and the fullbacks will follow him. And if anybody watched it, the first goal was scored because Ronaldo comes to half to pick up the ball and a fucking fullback leaves what's his name? The right wing for Juve, Bernadeschi, leaves him wide open just so he can defend Ronaldo at the half. Like, is anybody else watching the games? Like, this guy is covered 24/7. Okay, obviously once Ronaldo scores, it's just the floodgates going to open. You heard it here first. Juve is going to win the Champions League, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, he's going to win it again, and then he's going to go down as the best player of all time, winning 3 different Champions Leagues, 3 different teams, blah blah. He's an animal. He's a freak of nature. It doesn't matter. Okay, and then also people are forgetting. Yeah, he got out, the same time Messi did, but in the World Cup, not only was he the first player to score a World Cup against Spain in the World Cup, he's also the 4th player to score in 4 World Cups. Okay, and then he also, hit the record. What a milestone for him! 100 goals in all of UEFA, European competitions. What more do you want from this guy? What more does he need to do to secure him as the best player in the world? I just don't understand. If Ronaldo doesn't win it, I'll be pissed. I'll actually be bad. As long as of course it's not going to Messi because he's not on the short list. But if Ronaldo doesn't win it, I'll be disappointed. If Luka Modric or Salah win it, it's just not deserved. People will give it to people. No, okay, Salah's not getting it. Let's be real. But if it goes to Luka Modric, that'll just be disappointing. I just don't know what to say. A lot of you guys are gonna be like, "Oh, he should win it," but no, he shouldn't. You're just lying to yourself. Okay, he had a decent World Cup. Some people might even say Pogba had a better one. I wouldn't say that. Okay, don't shoot the messenger. Some people say that, and it could be true. It could be. I'm not gonna be the guy to say it, but it could be. Pogba did have similar stats per game, but I don't know. That's just me. That's just my take. Okay, it bothered me. Okay, I didn't expect to, actually come out and say this kind of stuff, but people actually think Messi should be on the UEFA shortlist when he shouldn't, and Luka Modric shouldn't win. Salah had a great season. He's not winning it, but he had a great season. Okay, but let's talk about the Prem. Okay, just quickly go over it. What a game Manchester United had against Spurs. I'm probably gonna go over that on the video I'm going to post on Friday about the weekend. I know I'm pushing it. It's getting really close to the next weekend. But this video had to come out first just because of the dates. But Manchester United against Spurs. And I'm totally with Jose Mourinho. Obviously, that's such a Manchester supporter thing to say. But, they basically what they did is they just built 3/4 of a house and they didn't let Mourinho finish the rest. Look at the defense he's working with. Okay, obviously, in my opinion, it was stupid to leave Phil Jones on, against Eriksen's left foot. Okay, that guy's he's so deadly. Okay, and then Herrera, in my opinion, Herrera can't even defend in the midfield. You want to put Herrera on defense, where that's the only thing he has to do? I don't know. People are saying, why didn't you play Baye? I wouldn't have fucking played Baye. No way in hell I would have played Baye. Dude, I've never seen somebody come out from an injury, be athletic as he is. Okay, he's not slowed down like you would usually see. He's not slowing down, but just make the stupidest decisions I've ever seen. He's literally gone worse. And it's not even because he's gone slower. It's just his decision making is horrible. But like I said, we'll go over that. A lot of people, really controversial, talking about how the VAR should be in there. And I think that's a no-brainer. Definitely should be in there. It depends though, because if you've seen from the World Cup, there's a lot of the penalty that they gave to France. A lot of people wouldn't like. The thing with VAR is that it just comes down to the ref as well. I know the refs can't see anything. I know there's a lot of calls where you say to yourself, how the fuck didn't the ref see that? Which is true. It just comes down to the ref as well, because you could have VAR and then have a ref come in and just make a stupid call. So it doesn't. I don't know, it kind of, you just need to have a good ref, and if you obviously last year, Man City versus Liverpool, so many bad calls for both ways. To be honest, if anybody knows the game I'm talking about, you know what I mean, Okay, it was so many bad calls. I couldn't believe it. I wanted Man City out. Like, just how are the refs there? It seemed like they're absent. It seemed like they're in the fucking stands watching the game, man. But that's my opinion. I definitely 100% think that we need the VAR. It just makes sense. It's gonna make everything there were some really bad calls, even when they had it, but I think the Prem's going to be different. Like I said, it's the best league in the world. So a lot of things would be different for sure. Since we're talking about leagues, to wrap up with this one, VAR should be in it. It's a no-brainer. Anybody who says it shouldn't, which I hope there's people who are saying there shouldn't, because it should. But if we're actually talking about leagues and we want to talk about one thing that has been pretty big, which I didn't think would get this big. Me and my friend Nick, I always bring up my videos, best Fortnite player in all of Canada. But me and Nick, my editor, me and him were talking about this, and he didn't think it would get this far either. But La Liga and the States. Okay, if for those of you who don't know what's going on, because it's not really broadcasted like it should be, but basically, the people who run La Liga, they want to have some games in the States. Basically, they didn't talk to any players, any coaches. They just said they made a deal. We're going to have some games, and then they just said to the players, these are the games you're going to be playing. And obviously, the players didn't like that. Same thing with the player union, who's been, the player union has been active for like 20 years now, and nobody even talked to them. They just came down, they said, we're going to have some games in the States, and everybody got pissed. All the captains went on strike for each La Liga team, which was, heartwarming. But what pisses me off is these Americans saying how it's stupid. I don't think it's stupid. I would hate for La Liga, and there's going to be some games in Canada, which would probably mean Edmonton, which is where I'm at, because we're hosting the World Cup here. But even like Maradona said, this this continent, basically North America, is just not passionate about the sport, and I would hate to have some. It's all about the money. They don't care about anything else. It's all about the money. And that's what really makes me mad, because there's a lot of small town clubs who deserve way more notice. That this is what they do on the weekends. This is what brings their family together. And for Americans to come out and say that it's stupid to strike over it, it's not. It's really not. I would probably never watch another La Liga again if it was played in the States. Even if it was in Edmonton. Even if they gave me a free ticket, I would hate that. I would hate for any, like, we already have the Super Cup in the States. What more do you want? Americans just want everything. Okay, sorry to get political, but at the same time, even if you don't bring politics into it, La Liga didn't even talk to the players. Didn't even talk to the player union. They just dropped it on their laps and they said, "This is the games that you're playing. This is what we're gonna do," which is stupid as hell. Stupid. It's all about the money. If there's any Americans who watch this and you're like, wow, this guy's a dick, I am. And I would literally never watch another La Liga game if it was played in the States. Ever. In my life. Okay, that's just my opinion though. Okay, guys. I will be... That's it for today. Okay, I will be posting up another video. One thing I'm going to talk about in my next video is the best foreign player. Best foreign player to play in the Premier League. For those of you okay, Alan Shearer came on, I think it was Sky Sports or like ESPN, something like that. And he came on and he was like, Aguero is the best foreign player to play in the Prem, which is just not true. Okay, I'm not going to say anything else just because I could go on forever about how not true it is. And I'm going to do it in my next podcast. But it's just not true, man. It's just not true. And the fact that it's Alan Shearer who said it, personally, I don't really like the older players. I wouldn't put them in my top 5, or most of them not even in my top 10. But Alan Shearer was a great striker. Like 260 goals is just ridiculous. I don't even think there's people close to him right now. But I think Kane's gonna beat him for sure if he keeps being as consistent as he is. But I'm definitely going to be going over that in my next podcast. That there's not a lot of things that somebody said that kept me up at night, but this is something. I was at a hookah bar. This thing popped up on my Twitter that he said this, and I was like, wow, I wanted to go home. It ruined my night when I saw this. The fact that Alan Shearer said it, I would expect if it was some idiot to come out and say it, but it was Alan Shearer. Okay, and I had respect for this guy. Okay, so that's definitely gonna be in my next podcast. But that is it for today. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe. This video will be on, or this audio file will be on the podcast, and the link will be in the description. Thank you guys for tuning in.